Okay, so we were discussing about collisions. Two types of collisions, elastic and inelastic collision. Elastic collision in which the kinetic energy is conserved. That is, the kinetic energy before collision is equal to the kinetic energy after collision. Whereas inelastic collision in which the kinetic energy is not conserved. Why? Because some part of the mechanical energy is converted into some other form of energy like heat energy, sound energy, etc. Okay, light energy. So kinetic energy is not conserved. So such type of collision we call it as inelastic collision. Okay, we have already discussed elastic collision in one dimension. Okay, that is two objects moving in the same straight line. They collide. If the velocity of one object is greater than the other, then they collide. Okay, and their velocities after collisions change. And these velocities v1 and v2, we have determined the expression of these velocities. We have already determined, and we have considered few cases. That is, if the masses are equal, the second body is at rest, okay, and the mass of one object greater than the other, or of the second object greater than the first. Okay, all these cases we have already discussed. Okay, today we'll discuss the elastic collision in two dimension. Okay, let two objects moving in the same straight line. After collision, they change their direction. Let M1 moving with U1 collides with another object M2 moving with U2, and after collision, let M1 is moving with a velocity V1 making an angle theta 1 with the original line of motion. This is the original direction of motion. Okay, let the first object of mass M1 is moving with V1 after collision, and let the second object M2 moves with a velocity V2 making some other angle with the original line of motion. Let it is making theta 2 angle. Okay, so as it is elastic collision, the first thing we know is momentum is conserved. The linear momentum is conserved. That is, the momentum before collision is equal to the momentum after collision. Okay, now momentum is a vector quantity. So we can resolve the momentum in different components because it is not only along x-axis. After collision, the momentum will have some component along x-axis and some component along y-axis. So as momentum is a vector quantity, so we'll discuss the conservation of any type of collision. The momentum is always conserved. So here we'll discuss the momentum conservation along x-axis, along y-axis. Okay, in one dimension, both are moving along the same x-axis. Okay, but here we can resolve this momentum in two components. As it is elastic collision, so the kinetic energy also remains conserved. So we'll make the equations, and using those equations, we can find out the velocities after collision. Okay, the same way as we have done for elastic collision in one dimension, we found the expressions of the velocities after collision, v1 and v2. So our aim is the same, to find out the expression of v1 and v2. Okay, so here, as momentum is a vector quantity, so the momentum will be conserved along x-axis. So first we'll write the equation of the conservation of momentum along x-axis. Okay, so conservation of momentum along x-axis, because before collision both are moving along x-axis. Okay, this axis we are considering to be x-axis, and this axis the y-axis. So as before collision both are moving along x-axis, m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is the momentum before collision along x-axis. Okay, but after collision these momenta are not along x-axis or not along y-axis. So we can resolve this momentum along x and y-axis. The momentum of the first object is m1 v1. Let us resolve this m1 v1 along x-axis. So along x-axis, the component of the momentum is m1 v1 cos theta 1. Okay, whereas along y-axis, the component is m1 v1 sin theta 1. Okay, this component along y-axis, we are resolving m1 v1. Along x and y-axis, along x-axis, it is m1 v1 cos theta 1. Along y-axis, it is m1 v1 sin theta 1. The same way we can resolve m2 v2, the momentum of the second object after collision along x and y-axis. So resolve it along x-axis, we get it as m2 v2 cos theta 2. And perpendicular to m2 v2 cos theta 2, the component is m2 v2 sin theta 2. Okay, now the momentum conservation along x-axis, that is the momentum of the two bodies, the sum of the momentum of the two bodies along x-axis before collision should be equal to the sum of the momenta of the two bodies along x-axis after collision. So what is the momentum of the two bodies before collision? The sum of the momentum is m1 u1 plus m2 u2. This is the momentum before collision of the two bodies. Okay, the total momentum before collision of the two bodies is m1 u1 plus m2 u2, and both are moving along x-axis. Okay, after collision, what is the total momentum of the two bodies along x-axis? It is m1 v1 cos theta 1 plus m2 v2 cos theta 2. Okay, so the momentum before collision along x-axis should be equal to the momentum, the total momentum after collision along x-axis. Now the same way the momentum will be conserved along y-axis. So now let us write the equation of conservation of momentum along y-axis, because momentum is always conserved. Okay, whenever any type of collision taking place, the momentum is always conserved. So the conservation of momentum along y-axis is the total momentum of the two bodies before collision along y-axis. Is there any component, is there any momentum along the y-axis before collision? Both the bodies are moving along x-axis. So there is no momentum along y-axis before collision. So what is the momentum before collision along y-axis? It is 0. Okay, why? Because both are moving along x-axis. So no momentum along y-axis before collision. Okay, now the total momentum after collision along y-axis. Here we see that m1 v1 sin theta 1 along plus y-axis, m2 v2 sin theta 2 along minus y-axis. So what will be the total momentum after collision along y-axis? It would be m1 v1 sin theta 1 minus m2 v2 sin theta 2. According to sign convention, along minus y-axis, we take it to be negative. Okay. Along x-axis, both were moving along plus x-axis. So m1 v1 cos theta 1 plus m2 v2 cos theta 2. But along y-axis, m1 v1 sin theta 1, you will take it to be positive, m2 v2 sin theta 2 will be taken as negative. So what do we get from here? m1 v1 sin theta 1 is equal to m2 v2 sin theta 2. This is equation number 2. Along x-axis, this equation you can take it to be 1. Okay, now as it is elastic collision, kinetic energy is also conserved. So according to conservation of kinetic energy is also conserved because it is an elastic collision. Okay, so according to the principle of conservation of kinetic energy, the kinetic energy before collision of the two bodies should be equal to kinetic energy after collision of the two bodies. Okay, now here after collision, you cannot resolve the kinetic energy in two components. Only vector quantities can be resolved. Kinetic energy is half m into speed square. Okay, it's not the velocity. We generally call it a half mv square, half m into velocity square, but that is the magnitude of the velocity. Kinetic energy is a scalar quantity. Okay, only vector quantities can be resolved. Like here, momentum we have resolved in x and y components, but kinetic energy cannot be resolved in two components. Why? Because it's a scalar quantity, only the vector quantity. Now, what is the kinetic energy before collision? Half m1 u1 square plus half m2 u2 square is the kinetic energy before collision of the two bodies. Should be equal to the sum of the kinetic energy of the two bodies after collision. After collision, the kinetic energy of the first body is half m1 v1 square plus half m2 v2 square. This is equation number 3. Okay, now using equation 1, 2 and 3, you can simplify and find out v1 and v2. Okay, so here we'll not find out the expression. If the numerical comes, you will make these three equations and then simplify by putting the values, and then you can find out whichever quantity is required. V1 is required, or theta 1 is required, theta 2 is required, v2 is required, so that quantity can be determined. Okay, so using these three equations, we can determine v1 and v2. So here you can write down using 1, 2 and 3, using equation 1, 2 and 3, v1 and v2 can be determined. Okay, the velocity v1 and v2 can be determined. Okay, as we have studied that no collision is perfectly elastic or perfectly inelastic. Okay, the physical quantity which determines the degree of elasticity of a collision is coefficient of restitution. Okay, which is the relative velocity after collision upon relative velocity before collision. Okay, which we represented by E. For perfectly elastic collision, it is E is equal to 1. Whereas for perfectly inelastic collision, E is equal to 0. Okay, but its value, practically its value lies between 0 to 1. No collision is perfectly elastic or perfectly inelastic. Okay, so here if it is perfectly elastic collision, then the sum of these two angles will be 90 degree. That is, the two objects will move in such a way perpendicular to each other. Okay, then theta 1 plus theta 2 is equal to 90 degree only for perfectly elastic collision. Okay, in a numerical, if it is written over there that it is a perfectly elastic collision, then theta 1 plus theta 2 can be taken equal to 90 degree. Okay, otherwise no collision is perfectly elastic. Okay, so not necessary that theta 1 plus theta 2 will be equal to 90 degree. Only for perfectly elastic collision, it will be equal to 90 degree. So here you can write down, for perfectly elastic collision, for perfectly elastic collision, for perfectly elastic collision, theta 1 plus theta 2 will be equal to 90 degree. Okay, the two objects will move in such a way making an angle of 90 degree with each other. Okay, but in the numerical, if it is not given that it is perfectly elastic collision, then you will not take it theta 1 plus theta 2 equals to 90 degree. Okay, not necessary, it may be there in the numerical. Only for perfectly, this word should be there, perfectly. Okay, for elastic collision, it may, if it is given, not necessary that theta 1 plus theta 2 is equal to 90 degree. Okay, only when the value of E, the coefficient of restitution is 1, then theta 1 plus theta 2 will be equal to 90 degree. Okay, otherwise not necessary. Okay, now the next type of collision, inelastic collision. Okay, we know that in inelastic collision, the two bodies stick together and move with a common velocity. Okay, such a collision we call it as the inelastic collision. So write down inelastic collision. Okay, now we'll find out the velocity of the objects after collision in case of inelastic collision. Inelastic collision. Write down. In inelastic collision, in inelastic collision, the two bodies stick together and move with a common velocity after collision, that is the relative velocity after collision is zero. The relative velocity after collision is zero. Okay, now any type of collision, we know that momentum is conserved. So here we'll write down conservation of momentum according to conservation of momentum. The first equation according to conservation of momentum. Let the two bodies or both are moving along x-axis. The first one with a velocity u1 and the second one with a velocity u2. So what is the total momentum before collision? m1 u1 plus m2 u2 should be equal to the total momentum after collision. Okay, both the bodies stick together. That is, what will be the total mass? m1 plus m2, and both will move with a common velocity. Which velocity? V velocity. Okay, and both move with a common velocity v. So from here v is equal to, after collision both are moving with the same velocity v. So after collision the velocity v is equal to m1 u1 plus m2 u2 upon m1 plus m2. So this is the expression of the velocity after collision in case of inelastic collision. So in inelastic collision, both the bodies stick together and move with the common velocities. Okay, and here you cannot use the equation of conservation of kinetic energy because it is inelastic collision. In case of inelastic collision, the kinetic energy is not conserved. Okay, that m1 u1 half m1 u1 square plus half m2 u2 square is equal to half m1 v1 square plus half m2 v2 square. We use it only for elastic collision. For inelastic collision, only one equation you can use, that is the conservation of momentum. So this is the velocity of the two bodies after collision. Both are moving with the same velocity, with the common velocity. Okay, now let's find out the loss of kinetic energy. As we say that the kinetic energy is not conserved. The kinetic energy before collision will not be equal to kinetic energy after collision. Why? Because some part of the kinetic energy is converted into some other form of energy like light energy, heat energy, etc. Okay, so this is some loss of kinetic energy. So here we'll find out the expression for the loss of kinetic energy, that is the kinetic energy before collision minus the kinetic energy after collision. So write the heading, loss of kinetic energy in inelastic collision. Okay, whereas in elastic collision there is no loss of kinetic energy. Kinetic energy before collision equals to kinetic energy after collision. Loss of kinetic energy in inelastic collision. Okay, so in order to make the equation simplified, let us consider that the second object is at rest. Otherwise, the equation will be very, very long. Okay, so let us consider a very simple case in which the first body, which is moving with the velocity u1, hits another object of mass m2, which is at rest. Okay, so m1 moving with u1 hits another object which is equal to 0, and both the bodies stick together and move with a common velocity v. Okay, so here we'll find out the kinetic energy before collision and the kinetic energy after collision, then we'll subtract it. Obviously, the kinetic energy before collision will be greater than the kinetic energy after collision, because some part of the kinetic energy is converted into sound, heat or light energy. So this loss of kinetic energy will appear in the form of heat energy or any other form of energy, light energy, etc. So kinetic energy before collision let it is K1, or let us write it as, okay, initial kinetic energy. This is moving with U1 is equal to half M1 U1 square. Okay, is equal to half M1 U1 square. U2 is 0. Okay, now what is the kinetic energy after collision? After collision, both are moving with the same velocity. Final kinetic energy is half m1 plus m2 into v square. Both are moving with the same velocity v. Now let us find out v in this case. Using the conservation of momentum, we can find out v. We know that according to the conservation of momentum, m1 u1 plus m2 u2, which is 0, is equal to m1 plus m2 into v. So here v is equal to m1 u1 upon m1 plus m2. Substitute it over here, v. Okay, this v we have determined using conservation of momentum. So we get half m1 plus m2 v square, m1 square u1 square upon m1 plus m2 whole square. Hurry up, simplify and get the expression. Okay, this is kinetic energy after collision. Now the loss of kinetic energy. Loss of kinetic energy is kinetic energy before collision minus the kinetic energy after collision. Okay, and this loss of kinetic energy will appear in some other form. So find out loss of kinetic energy. Which is equal to initial minus the final kinetic energy. Hurry up, simplify and get one expression. I'll write the final expression over here. Half m1 u1 square minus half m1 square u1 square upon m1 plus m2. Take the LCM, take half common and take the LCM. Okay, m1 into m1 plus m2. Okay, m1 square plus m1 into m2. Okay, take the LCM. LCM here is m1 plus m2. So m1 into m1 plus m2 into u1 square. So m1 square into u1 square, m1 into m2 into u1 square minus m1 square u1 square. This m1 u1 square minus m1 u1 square you can cancel out. So the loss of kinetic energy is m1 into m2 u1 square upon 2m1 plus m2. So here we get the loss of kinetic energy is m1 into m2 u1 square upon twice of m1 plus m2 is the expression of loss of kinetic energy, and this loss of kinetic energy will appear in some other form. So note it down. This is the expression of loss in kinetic energy. Okay, also you can find out the ratio of it. Okay, also find out the ratio. Okay, so this loss of kinetic energy will appear in some other form, like light energy, heat energy, etc. Okay, also you can find out the ratio of final kinetic energy to the initial kinetic energy. Final kinetic energy upon initial kinetic energy. The final kinetic energy is half m1 plus m2 into v square, substitute v square, and the initial kinetic energy is half m1 u1 square. Okay, this is homework. You will find out the expression, and we have completed the chapter. And tomorrow, few questions, you will keep the NCERT book with you. Okay, I'll make you note down which questions to be done from this chapter. You'll do those questions, and then we'll proceed to the next chapter, which is rotational motion.